Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning.
I'm so glad you're here with me today. This is Jean. For anybody out there watching today or later, um, I am a parent liaison with the Great Start Collaborative Parent Coalition of Charlevoix, Emmett, and Northern Antrim counties. And I'm here this morning for our community connections to learn more about the Manna Food Project. And Carrie is here to answer all of our questions and tell us everything there is to know. And she's a treasure trove of information about all things food supports in our area. So, welcome, Carrie. If you want to introduce yourself, maybe, and talk a little bit about yourself, we'd love to know more
Yeah,
about you.
thank you so much. I'm Carrie Klingelsmith, and I'm the Executive Director of the Manna Food Project. I've been with the organization for about a year, so I've seen a full circle of how all the programs work and met lots of people that are feeding people across northern Michigan. So I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, a year is, it can be a long time or it can be just breaking the ice. I think maybe it's kind of both.
Yeah, I've
As
learned so
things
much in the last year. Yeah, for sure.
things change and grow, and yeah, so welcome, congratulations on about a year.
Thank you.
It's a milestone. So yeah, so we hear about Manna Food Project all the time. If we have kids in school, we hear about backpack foods. Like, there's a lot of places you go where Manna seems to be kind of just there. So I don't know if you
Yeah,
maybe like an overview. What is the Manna Food Project? We know that it's about providing food for people to eat,
right.
but
Yes.
there's more. There's so much more to it, and how that happens, and where it happens. So what is the Manna Food Project, and what do you do?
So first and foremost, the Manna Food Project, we're a food bank and we're an affiliate partner of Feeding America West Michigan, which is a member food bank of the National Feeding America National Organization across the whole United States. So across the United States, there's about 200 food banks. And what a food bank does is distribute food to all the partner agencies, such as your local food pantries or meal programs, and we do facilitate our backpack program to about 28 schools, and we service Emmett County, Charlevoix County, and Antrim County. So we have partners across those three counties, and I think we have about 40 right now. So we service a lot of people for their food pantry and meal programs.
So when you say partners, that means food pantries, basically, generally.
Correct.
So if I'm going to my food pantry to get some food,
Mm-hmm.
they are getting their food. They're not just going to the grocery store and
Right.
purchasing food off the shelf. They're going through Manna,
Right.
who supplies them with their food resources.
Right.
So that all the food is kind of coming from the same place and it looks the same, and each food pantry you go to is basically
Right.
supplied by Manna. So
Right. So being a food bank, that's our main job, is to distribute food to our local partners. For they order food from us. We order food from Feeding America West Michigan. So it's kind of like a little trickle down effect to be able to get food out to the people in need.
um,
So across the three counties, like I said, we have about 40 partners that buy food from us. And then we're a little bit different than most food banks. We have our own food pantry as well. So we have a pantry weekly, and we recently started two mobile pantries in northern Emmett County to fill some of those gaps of the rural areas that might not be served as well as maybe the ones that are closer to towns.
oh, awesome. So mobile pantry, does this mean actually like moving?
Yes.
Like
So we
on
have
wheels?
a mobile distribution. Yeah, so in Bliss Township, we operate right out of their fire hall. So we're lucky enough to have a cover during the
Mm-hmm.
winter season. But normally we just bring our Manna truck, and it's a refrigerated truck. And then we
Mm-hmm.
also have a Manna van, and we load up our volunteers and we drive to the site once a month. We also have a site in Carp Lake. We bring pre-boxed food, but then we also provide them with the frozen meats and any dairy products, any fresh produce or fruit that we would get, protein, produce, vegetables, fruit, all that kind of stuff. So
Awesome.
it's a full menu of items, and people get fed pretty well.
Awesome. So basically, it sounds like Manna has three food pantries, kind of. Just
Right.
so you have
Mm-hmm.
one on site, you said, and then these two that go around every month. And I did hear you say you load up your volunteers.
Yeah.
So, um,
So we do bring a van load of volunteers that some actually have been coming from the Bliss area and also Carp Lake. So we're getting the word out more and more. And so we have volunteers right there in those areas that are helping us as well.
so that's an opportunity for people to maybe get involved if they want to
Yes.
volunteer through Manna. You have options for them to do that.
We do. We have lots of volunteer opportunities. We depend on our volunteers to help us. Last year, we had about 4,500 hours logged
Oh
for
my
our
goodness.
volunteers, which is about two full-time staff people.
That's
So,
an incredible number of hours.
yeah, significant. So it's very exciting, and our community comes together and supports this cause in a variety of ways. And volunteers have been wonderful and dedicated and committed to helping us serve our mission to feed people.
Awesome. So, if I want to get food, um, and I'm going to a food pantry or your food pantry, are there? It sounds like we're all working through Manna. So I go in there. Do I have to? How do I do that? How do I find out where they
Yeah.
are? How do I know if I'm allowed
Yes.
to go? If it's for
Sure.
me, what are
Yeah.
like the kind of
So,
criteria?
right at mannafoodproject.org, if you go to our tab that says Find Food, we have a list of all our agencies that are serving food either by a food pantry or a meal program. Some places deliver meals, and some places have hot meals ready for pickup. So there's all kinds of ways that people can get fed, but our food pantry and meal program list is right on our website. It gives the site, the address, the times that they operate, and when they can pick up food. At Manna Food Project, we have emergency food boxes if people are not available or can't get to the pantry hours and those select times. They can come and always get food from us between 8 and 4 p.m. or 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. to pick up an emergency food box for that day, to hold them over until maybe they can get to a pantry during those hours. So we are always available. We have an emergency line. It's just a regular phone number too that people can call if they're in need, and we'll try to help them in any way that we can.
That's wonderful news. I mean, I know it's the struggle right now, and the cost of food is skyrocketing, and you can't find
Yes,
things you need. So calling that
right.
number and knowing about that emergency
Yeah.
box is a really
So
great.
it, right. And if somebody comes to the Manna Pantry, we operate as a client choice pantry. So people, and we do a drive-through pantry right now, so people don't even have to get out of their car. It's kind of nice. So
Mm,
they pull up to, we have a little booth in our parking lot where we have a volunteer registering people. So basically, all we need to know is your name, address, and how many people in the household. So people can just register at that booth. They get a form, they fill it out, and choose their food in each category. And then we have a volunteer shop that in our
oh,
pantry in the building, and then we deliver it right to their car. And we always have little bits of extra things from, we get a food rescue weekly through different stores in the area, Meyer, Aldi, Walmart, and they always give us a plethora of baked goods. So sometimes there's some sweet treats
hmm.
available and things like that. So anything extra, we'll definitely always throw in to help feed people.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the idea of. I mean, it's like the online shopping, and somebody does the work for you, and you literally
Right?
just fill out. Here's my order, and
Yeah.
okay, so another
Yeah.
opportunity to volunteer also if you're looking for one is
Yes.
being like a personal shopper in
Yep.
the food bank, the food pantry at Manna. So oh yeah, that's super cool.
Uh,
So I imagine um, each partner that you have, they kind of operate, they have their own systems, I would imagine.
they
um,
do. A
okay.
lot of them mirror what we do because it's worked so well with the client being able to choose their own food. That way, there's not a lot of food
Hmm.
waste, and we're not giving them items they might not want. So we really try to limit that waste
Hmm.
and just really try to get people the things that they like and that they know how to use and that sort of thing. So it's really nice. It's that dignity and respect, and that they get to do their own shopping.
And I don't have to put down like my income or my
Nope.
job or how many people are employed on that list. I just where I'm from, my name, and how many people I'm trying to feed.
Exactly. There are different food banks that service different counties. So if somebody comes from Sheboygan County, we'll definitely serve them. But there are plenty of pantries closer to them if they're from that area. So we just try to say if you're in the three counties, we'll definitely service. And then we'll definitely give people the resources if they're outside of our counties to make sure they're not driving far when they
Right.
don't need to and things like that. So we just really try to give people the resources that they need to thrive in their household.
Is there a limit how often I can go to a food pantry, or like if I go to, one in Pelston, can I then like the next week if I need food, can I go to a different pantry? How does that work?
So we often tell people twice a month at one food pantry, and we understand if people can't quite make it, so we're definitely going to feed people when they need it. However, we try to spread the wealth to as
Mm-hmm.
many households as possible. So we do tell people you can come every other week and you utilize your other pantries as well, that's for sure. It is meant to be a supplemental food source to maybe other benefits people are receiving and things like that. So it is meant to be supplemental to maybe hold them over until they can actually maybe buy their own groceries, or if they're just in need, they definitely can come and help, and we'll help them.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good to know. And you talked a little bit about, the chain of where the food comes from and goes. And I know you and I have kind of mentioned it, and it kind of blows my mind. But another way to volunteer and maybe give back to Manna, and just to kind of recognize how you source and how you pay for, and how do you afford so much food when we know food is so expensive. So,
Yeah.
like, how does that work?
Yeah, so Manna Food Project is a nonprofit organization, and so we do rely 100% on fundraising, donations, food drives, food donations, and things like that. So we often tell people that monetary donations are the best way to go because we can make that dollar go a lot further by buying food in max quantities from the Feeding America West Michigan and things like that. So we can definitely make that dollar go a lot further. We're always open to any help that we can get to make sure people are being fed adequately. So we're always looking for new fundraisers, new partnerships, and just trying to get the word out to people that we're here. Some people
Mm-hmm.
hear about Manna Food Project and really don't know exactly what we do. So, just we're trying to increase awareness and let people know that we're here. And it's a great resource for the communities. And, definitely working with all different partners. We worked with Habitat for Humanity actually did a food drive for us. So just nonprofits helping nonprofits, neighbors helping neighbors. Um, but yeah, we do have a website at mannafoodproject.org, and you can donate right online if you'd like. Um, and all that money goes directly right back into feeding people, and 100% of donations go towards that.
Go to food. Awesome. Do you want to maybe talk a minute? Right at the beginning, you mentioned the backpack program that you do with
Yeah.
the 28 schools in our area. So I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit. It's pretty neat.
Yes. So our backpack, it's called Food for Kids Backpack Program. And what it is we have about 10, 12 items usually, mostly 12 items fit in we get Meyer bags and we have volunteers assemble our backpacks right in our food warehouse. And we try to get the most nutritious products available. We want to feed people, but we always want to be conscious of how much sugar we're giving and that sort of thing. So we really try to take that very serious on getting the healthiest snacks in these bags. So the bags are meant to go home with kids on Fridays to supplement their weekend food at home. If they need more during the week, we definitely give that to them. But we work with 28 schools across the three counties, and they get bi-weekly distributions. We have a site coordinator at each school that we are in constant contact with to make sure they're getting enough food or if they have a big supply left. And we're just constantly working with them to make sure that the kids that need it are definitely being fed um, as much as they need. So we're serving about 55,000 backpacks a year.
That was
So it's a
the
large
numbers. Yeah, I'm just
program.
thinking all the schools, all the kids, just every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the program itself is probably about $275,000 a year to run. So a lot of people do like to designate their donations
Mm-hmm.
right to backpacks, and if they designate that, then we make sure to put it in a fund specifically to go towards our backpack food and distributions. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a undertaking. Just trying to the manpower behind that, the person
Yeah.
power. Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so we have volunteers that pack the bags, and then we have volunteer drivers to drive the
Oh
backpacks and
wow,
deliver them to the schools,
nice.
and we do that every 2 weeks.
So they pick up where if I'm going to volunteer at the Manna Food Project on site, where is that?
So you go right to our main warehouse in Harbor Springs off of
Okay.
West Conway Road, and McBride Park Court is our street, and we can sign you up there. Or we do have an online portal for volunteers to fill out an application. We have a volunteer coordinator that would get with that volunteer and approve their application, and then they could sign up right on our system called Better Impact to sign up for volunteer opportunities. We have a list of things that are available from pantry, serving and shopping to packing backpacks to driving and doing food rescues. So there's all kinds of opportunities. We do have a lot of groups and businesses that like to come in as a group. And we've had recently a lot of banks come in and help us do that as well. And then they'll end up doing food drives. And so it kind of is a domino effect of they see it and they really see the cause and know that they're making a difference. So they want to continue to help. It's really a cool process.
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful opportunity to volunteer. I wanted to circle back to one other thing that was in my brain. You kind of touched on. I'm picturing and I'm going into my pantry and there's food there, groceries, and then I pick up my groceries and I go home. But you also said that there are some places that have meals that Manna helps provide food for. So what does that look like? And is that
Yeah.
who would receive those?
So those are open to anybody that's in need. Some are for 60 and over. It just really depends on the facility and the program.
Is
So
that
we
like our
have,
senior center meals sort of thing?
right,
Okay.
yeah. So Friendship Center, for example, they do meals right on site. During the pandemic, they did all to go, but now they're coming back in the building.
Yay.
It's a great social opportunity, and they can get their meals right there at the Friendship Center. We do have another one in Charlevoix called Safe Haven, and they do to go breakfast in the morning. And all the dates and times are on our website for each of the meal programs, so people can look there and know when they can go to those sites and pick up their food. Or if they want like to have a meal with their friends or meet new friends, it's a nice program. There's just different ones. There's another Lighthouse Lunch that serves lunch meals, so people could get food all over the place.
That's
Lots
awesome.
of different programs going on. So people are well fed, and there's so many resources out there. We just want to increase that awareness and where people can get help.
Yeah, I love the just food is such a just a community building aspect and obviously a need. So it's something that I just love to see people coming together around it and over it and working on making sure we're all taken care of. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love the warm meals. So so Manna would distribute the food for those meals, and then there's probably volunteers at those organizations that cook it up. Is that
Correct. Yes.
another level of another step down the
Yeah,
the
so
food
they
chain?
have most of our partner programs are run by volunteers. At Manna Food Project, we do have 8 full-time and part-time staff, but most of our partners are all volunteers. So we have lots of people throughout the community wanting to serve the mission to feed people. So it's very generous and giving community.
I love that. Well, we touched on a lot. I feel like you answered my questions. The biggest thing I think right now we're not saying what we have said, but to go to that website at mannafoodproject.org and click the find food button
Fine.
icon tab,
Oh,
and that's where I'm going to find my nearest pantry or my nearest meal. It's going to be updated. It's going to tell me where to go,
yes.
contact information.
Yes, all the contact information. We do have a Facebook page for the Manna Food Project, and we also have one for the Manna Food Pantry.
Okay.
So if we have any news and any updates, we are constantly posting on those Facebook pages. We also have a LinkedIn page where people can catch up on maybe some of the latest news with Feeding America National. Specifically coming up at the end of February, federal government has been they're going to end the supplemental benefits. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that people really should start to plan for. That extra fee that happened during the pandemic is now going to be lessened beginning March 1st. So we might see an influx of people, and we just really want people to know that we're here to help and get people fed as best as we can, and to know the resources that are available in all three counties. There's probably a food pantry right around the corner from their house, so we just always like to get people that information so they know where to go and what's closest to them.
Yeah, that sounds like a good place to go. That the food benefit reduction coming up fast and furious here is, yeah, definitely
Yeah,
something we want to bring awareness to, and for people to
right,
be prepared, and knowing that there's this extra support there in case we need it in the transition period is really
right,
helpful. So,
right, yes.
yeah, awesome. Well, is there anything else that you want to mention that I haven't asked you?
No, I just want to really thank the community for coming together and being so generous and helping Manna Food Project be able to serve the people that we do. We have such tremendous donors and businesses and corporate places and manufacturers that just always give to us, and we just really appreciate all the help and support and contributions that people make, and they are really what drives what we do, and we couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without our volunteers, so it's just, we're very grateful for all of the partnerships that we do have.
Yeah, I love it. I'm super glad to know more and to have a better understanding of how it works and how I could get involved if I had a
Great.
few hours to pitch in and helping get
Yeah,
people fed. So,
yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for having me.
yeah, wonderful. Carrie, we'll see you around. And if anybody has any questions, mannafoodproject.org is the first place to go. And I'm going to put that link in the comments here when we're done. And everybody check that out. And then you'll find everything you probably need to know there. Otherwise, imagine you can give a call and get those
For sure.
questions answered there. So, but thank you
Yes.
very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, have a great weekend.
Bye bye.